Hello again, viewers. I will be taking a nice hard look at the Musha Tribe this episode, and opening with a battle against Tetsuya and Kotaro that isn't Kotaro's Crash Course. Since I'm already using the Musha Tribe, I figured I'd pick Usagi as a partner just to make this as close to a mirror match as I could. I'm opening up with normal samurai, same as Tetsuya. Musha Borgs are a lot like Night Borgs in that they're melee specialists, although they focus more on offense as opposed to defense, seeing as they don't carry shields. The general strategy with the tribe is pretty consistent. You'll want to close in for your melee attacks. The normal samurai here has his Shinku Slash as a projectile to help him get in, while his main B attack is the Nitoryu Swordplay. He also has the Rolling Slash X attack, which is surprisingly good at hitting enemies by surprise, as it moves a bit faster than you might expect. You do have to be careful, as it can leave you wide open for attacks, and you don't really have a defense while it's happening. But it is a good way to move around if you need it. Really, its main use is tacking on damage at the end of combos, but using it at the wrong times will get you smacked around like that. And with normal samurai down, Sonic Samurai takes its place. The Sonic Samurai has the same Shinku Slash and Sonic Nitoryu main attacks, though he replaces the Rolling Slash with the Sonic Nusoken. This dash attack is generally a much better movement option than the Rolling Slash as it moves faster, though it does leave you a bit more vulnerable when it connects, as you have to pose for a few seconds. Fortunately, it's a good way to cover ground if you don't manage to hit your opponent with it. And seeing as most Borgs are instantly put in hard knockdown when it connects, it's a good way to keep an enemy down for a few seconds. I'm glad I managed to take that powered gunman out before its shotgun blast could do me in. Looks like Kotaro has expended his force a bit, but he's already down to his partner. And it seems the Sonic Nusoken isn't quite helping against Power Burst. And Billy's double recoil takes him down. But next up is Beam Samurai. And Beam Samurai is a bit more straightforward than the previous two Musha Borgs. His only moves are the Beam Charge X attack and his Beam Blade sword swings. Charging your beam sword makes it do more damage and hit more often. It also gives you a bit more range. So generally you'll want to charge your sword as often as possible, just to make sure it doesn't go out on you in the middle of a combo. I definitely want to be careful against Tetsuya's Samurai Shogun here, as it's his strongest Borg of the Force, and getting hit with that Shogun Slasher could have been really bad. At least we have a numbers advantage in this situation. And it looks like Tetsuya's down to his partner Musashi. And with Usagi keeping him busy with lasers, I'm free to charge and tackle him with my beam sword at a safe distance. Or relatively safe, at least. And that's game. A normal night. And another wire gunner. Decent prizes all told. But we're moving on, and next up will be a battle against the Tank Borg unit. Well, it sounds kind of odd. Musha Borgs are surprisingly well suited to taking on tanks. I'll be opening up with Tetsuya's partner Musashi.
We can win this battle.
Now Musashi, like most other partner Borgs, is a modified normal samurai. In this case, the modification is the faster reload speed and slightly more HP. And like I said before, Musha Borgs are actually surprisingly good at dealing with tanks. Just as long as you stay out of the way of their shots. Though with the Musha Borg defense, you can take more than a few cannon shells. Of course, you don't want to take more than a few. But in good position, you can take out on a tank fairly quickly. Unfortunately, you can't really get a good position in this battle, as the tanks are parked on higher ground, and with the marketplace being as open as it is, there is no real way for me to close in. My only real option is to either chip them with Shinku slashes or go for a close range attack. Unfortunately, approaching from the wrong side ends up with that happening. But next up is Chrono Samurai. Now, once again, he uses Nitoryu sword slashes, although his is space-time, and he replaces the X attack with the ability to stop time. And just like Orochi's Chrono Samurai, time stopping stops every other Borg on the field. It does give you time to position yourself for an optimal attack, but hitting the enemy too many times will cause them to go into hard knockdown, so you can only get a few shots in. Fortunately, it lasts long enough. Unlike most Musha Borgs, Chrono Samurai does kind of want to hang back and only close in when time is stopped. Although stopping time does give you really the best position possible. You do need to be careful with stopping time, as any active projectiles on the field can still hurt you. And really, there's nothing more embarrassing than dying when your enemy is frozen. Now, if you're wondering why I haven't popped Power Burst yet, it's because unfortunately Chrono Samurai is one of the Borgs that doesn't really benefit from Power Burst, as Time Stop only lasts a certain amount of time no matter what, and charging faster doesn't really give you a benefit. The extra damage might be useful if it were closer to the end of the battle, but with the enemy's GF energy being what it is, it's generally better to just take my shots when I can get them and save Power Burst for the next Borg in line. In a stage like the marketplace with a lot of wide open area, it's kind of strange why I would say Musha Borgs are good against tanks. But you can see how even Musashi could deal some damage, and Chrono Samurai has been kind of chewing them up. And of course, when there's multiple tanks firing from the other direction, there's really not much I can do but pay attention and dodge as best I can. And unfortunately, Chrono Samurai can't get up there unaided. So that tank is just free to do whatever it wants for now. And with them being positioned so far away, I can't really take cover effectively, as that would just leave me open to the other two. Unfortunately, time stoppage, I'm getting my use out of it, certainly. Well, and with that tank seeing fit to roll off its position, I can now close in and get some damage in while I've got the chance. And with the one last cannon blast, Chrono Samurai is down. And next up is Samurai Shogun. Samurai Shogun is easily the most powerful Borg in the tribe. His Shogun Slash easily destroys almost any Borg it hits. And with Power Burst, you can practically rapid fire them. It can be somewhat tricky to use, as if you use it on an enemy that's aimed upward, you won't really get the best damage out of it, as it'll simply knock them away. But if you can use it on an enemy straight ahead, or angled downward, you can do some heavy damage, like that beam tank there. Unfortunately, I can't seem to finish it off. and I'd rather not use my Shogun Slash on it, but I did there and missed because it was angled up. Unfortunately, Shogun Slash charges fairly quickly even when not in Power Burst. But really, Samurai Shogun is just a great Borg overall. And in only 3 pieces, he's fairly easy to collect as far as powerful late-game Borgs go. And Tsutomu gets the last shot, but I don't mind.
Alright. Well, it's obvious.
A normal Gatling tank. And a normal tank. Good enough. And we'll keep moving right along and taking on the Death Force Special Unit. I picked Kotaro as a partner because long-range support is fairly useful in this battle, especially when I'm using Mushas.
Let's do this.
And while this battle starts out fairly conventionally against a switching ninja and an acceleration ninja, but the real threats of this battle will soon be made apparent. No, switching ninja isn't really the problem. Trying to fight an acceleration ninja as a normal samurai is somewhat dangerous. But the real danger is the walking bomb that I happen to blunder into. And because I hit the acceleration ninja, it doesn't even fall to the explosion. Unfortunately, Beam Samurai finishes the job, and now the real special unit battle can take place. Yeah, it's mostly Borgs like, say, ICBM tanks and walking bombs, paired with Borgs like Arrow Ninja, Bug Witch, and Deathborg Omicron, meant to hinder your movement and make it so you can't evade the ICBM. And while ICBMs are dangerous enough on their own, their support Borgs make them even more so. And you'll definitely want to keep an eye on them. Unfortunately, Chrono Samurai here can stop the launch before it happens. And while if any Borg can get in position, they can destroy the missile before it fires, it's somewhat difficult to do, especially with slower Borgs like Musha. And this certainly looks like a bad position for me. I'm caught by 3 arrows and another ICBM tank warping in. Fortunately, Time Stop frees you from such traps, so arrow ninjas can't really do much to me. And I immediately take off after I couldn't prevent that launch, and the enemies fortunately don't. And Death Bomb is just kind of a joke here, especially when there's only like 2 of them in the battle. While I could stop time and go after that tank, it's much easier to just let it destroy itself. And it looks like the battle's down to a single Arrow Ninja, which really doesn't stand a chance against Chrono Samurai. Well, that's game. I'd say I felt bad about outclassing it there, but I really don't. An Acceleration Ninja is always a nice prize. And I guess that wasn't too much of a hassle for it. And once again, we pit our Mushas against the Borg of Mass Destruction. Now this time against Ultimate Cannons. You may have noticed the Musha Tribe is kind of small, with only 6 Borgs to its name. And unfortunately for me, Ultimate Cannons don't destroy themselves nearly as readily. And while they're certainly dangerous, once again, the real threat is its support Borgs. So while you want to keep an eye on what the cannon's doing, the best option in these sorts of fights is to get rid of the support as fast as possible. Especially when you're relying on close-range attacks. Though unfortunately an arrow catches me, and I can't really get out of the way of the shot in time. Tried as I might. That's okay, Sonic Samurai will have to take its place. And with Bug Witches and Arrow Ninjas not having a lot of HP, Sonic Samurai can make quick work of them, just so long as I don't get caught in another Ultimate Cannon Blast. Yeah, and the missiles in Vulcan from the Ultimate Cannon are annoying, but getting caught in their cannon shot is a lot more so. And it looks like I'm down to the Shogun, and this is really a question of who's stronger. And while my Shogun Slash charges much more quickly than the Ultimate Beam does, it's not as powerful, and as such I can't really destroy them in a single slash. And if I use it at the wrong time, I can't knock them out of it, so I could really just lock myself into getting hit. But thanks to Kisune's Thunder Wire, I don't even have to attack to disrupt the enemy. And it seems like I've managed to get rid of the support, leaving the Ultimate Cannons to fend for themselves. And without support, an Ultimate Cannon isn't really too much of a hassle. Oh, it seems one more has come in. Though at this point, it's really better to get rid of the cannon now and deal with whatever support it has later. Oh, looks like once more a single Arrow Ninja is left to fend off. That was more of a rout than when it fought Chrono Samurai. Not a single prize. Oh well, I've got Ultimate Cannons. And while that was the end of the Musha Tribe, there are 2 more Borgs to show off.
Let's do this!
This is Demon Samurai. He's one of the 2 Demon Borgs that play like Mushas. And while they have their self-titled Nitoryu, Demon Samurai replaces the Shinku Slash and Rolling Slash with the Soul Ball and Random Slash, respectively. These attacks have a shorter range, but that shortcoming is made up for with the Demon's special ability. Every time a Borg on the field is defeated with an Akuma or Demon Samurai on the field, it releases a soul, one for every samurai that can absorb one, so there's no fighting over them. And their swords get longer with every soul they collect. And in a battle against Death Borgs, you can quickly find yourself wielding swords longer than the arena. Although that can be kind of obnoxious, especially when your swords start to reach the edge of your projectile range, and it kind of feels like you're swinging at nothing. Getting into a good position and random slashing at enemies you can't even see is pretty fun, all told. And of course, once your swords get long enough, you can hit enemies through walls, and that's always interesting. That's always fun. And really, I couldn't ask for a better battle to show off the ability. And while even Death Borgs can be dangerous when they've got numbers and a single target, the fact that they've got low HP makes them perfect fodder for Demon Samurai's ability. Well, unfortunately, like I said, his Demon Nitoryu kind of swings at nothing because your swords are long enough to hit them, but not really in a good position to. You can use Random Slash once your sword gets long enough. Although, unfortunately, I'm at a real disadvantage against these Sigmas. Even with my longer swords, they can hover just out of range, and I can't really do much about it.
I'm not done yet.
And next up is Akuma Samurai. Very similar to Demon Samurai, although he replaces the Soul Ball attack with the Akuma Laser. It has better range, But again, your swords can quickly eclipse that range, and it can be kind of obnoxious. And just like Demon Samurai, I'm having a bit of trouble against these Sigma. They can just fly right outside my range, and I'm left swinging at nothing while they take their pot shots. Fortunately, with a bit of fancy footwork, I managed to take them down, only to be met with a group of Sigma 2s. Again, not the best position. Next up is Musashi again, that being the last of the Demon Samurai. Now, unlike tanks, who can't really move that well, and thus Mushas have a good advantage against, flyers are much more difficult to handle. Even lambdas are pretty dangerous, as they're much more agile and difficult to attack. And the rolling slash can get you in range. It won't protect you from the projectiles, especially when there's more than one firing at you. Luckily for me, Deathworks don't have much HP, so only a few Shinku slashes will take them down if they can connect. Unfortunately, Lambda isn't nearly as good as Sigma, so I'm not getting juggled too hard. And some lucky positioning sees good use of the rolling slash in breaking up their formation. It seems kind of odd that they place Lambda 2s in front of Lambda 1s, but honestly I'm not complaining. And a bit of rolling slash to get that extra height. Oh, and now I come to a dangerous fight against Deathborg Iotas. While they're easier to maneuver around than the flyers are, those flamethrowers can quickly chew through my health, especially if I attack at the wrong angle and dive into one, which I have done several times. Either it ran out of ammo or it just decided to stop firing. Either way, it's good for me because it probably would have taken me out there. And now we see the Deathborg Alpha type, the ninja copiers. With some trouble, I get rid of them. But next up is Deathborg Betas. And with Musashi weakened as he was, he didn't stand much of a chance. Fortunately, last up is the Shogun. And while it may be a bit of overkill to be using the Shogun Slash against a bunch of Deathborgs, I didn't come this far to lose. Yeah, despite any appearances to the contrary. And while I can use my Shogun Slash to easily keep away from the enemy's range, unfortunately, Borgs like Deathborg Zeta, the Musha type, some of them have lasers, as opposed to Death Eye attacks. And here's where they start mixing tribes. As we see a Sigma and some News. A Chi tank. Some more Lambdas. That could not have been closer. I'm glad that Iota did decide to close in. I also pop Power Burst as just a bit of insurance. While this battle is, in fact, really easy, that's why I chose to do it single. It really just goes to show you to not get cocky in the game, because even Deathworks can take you out.
Alright.
Though with that, it's victory and prize claiming. Thanks for watching.